Hello everybody, it's Blocky, and today I am going to be building a small town in Minecraft, and I'm going to begin building the town of Crawfordsville, Indiana. This is a town that was recommended for me to build by Braiden Link. He is one of the Builders Tier Pro members on my Patreon, and as a pro member of the Builders Tier, I get to build a city for you each month. And so I've spent 2 months so far building Crawfordsville, Indiana, and this right here is what we're going to be focusing on building first. It is the courthouse of the town. So here is just another photo of it, of the front. It's the largest and most detailed building in the city, and so that's what we're going to go ahead and begin building today. So the first thing we're going to do is just build the roads right here. And now we're going to actually begin building the courthouse itself. So as you can see, I'm going to begin building the base. I'm just going to go ahead and build that up right there with the first story. And I am just doing the front of the courthouse for now. I'm going to add the sides and the back on later. But now I'm going to go ahead and begin building the second story of the courthouse. So like I said earlier in the video, this is kind of the center of Crawfordsville, Indiana. It's a real town that Braiden Link requested me to build in Minecraft. And so I'm going to be doing my best to recreate every aspect of that town in Minecraft. So here we are, I'm building the left side of the courthouse. As you can see, it does change from, that stripped wood to brick material. And I'm going to copy and paste it over to the right side. Now the right is going to be different from the left. It does have a lot of similarities, but for now we'll just keep it the same. I'm going to add the big tower that you saw in the original picture with the steeple on top. And now I'm going to begin working on the roof design right here. So there's the front of the roof that I am working on right now, and just going to go ahead and build that up right there. And now I'm going to go ahead and begin working on the right side. So the right side does have like a little walkway to go up to it, with some stairs. And here's a picture of the side and a picture of the intersection, which is what I'm going to be building next. So as you can see right here, just going to go ahead and begin, and I'm going to put that back wall on. I'm not really sure what is on that back wall, if there's any windows, so I just left it blank for right now. But I am going to go ahead and put the floor in for the building, and I'm going to go ahead and also begin building the ceiling. The buildings in Crawfordsville do not have interiors, unfortunately, and that is because I cannot see what the inside of a building looks like from Google Maps. But now I'm going to begin building that little statue on the outside of the courthouse. I'm also going to extend the sidewalk and add some landscaping, and this is going to really make it look even better than it already is, and make it really come to life. There's like some cannons on the side, which are really cool, and now I'm going to build that road and then an intersection right here. So it does take me a little while to work on the intersection and get all of the traffic lights in the correct position, but I am going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and build that area around here, and now I'm going to go ahead and build the American flag and the flag of Indiana. That's that other blue flag to the right. I am going to move the American flag farther, more towards the center of the courthouse. And now I'm going to go ahead and build the front, and then this is another little sign thing that I was right here. And now that's complete, I do have some more details to add to the left side. There was like some tables and stuff, and then I have to add all the cars into the city. And that is complete. So that was the first month. Now we're going to begin building some apartments, and this is kind of what it looks like as well. It's just pictures of the different apartments that I'm going to be building. So we're moving on to month number 2 now. So the way that the Builders Tier Pro works is I build a city for you each month. So I'll spend, like 1 or 2 hours a month, probably like 2 hours a month. It was actually a little bit over 2 hours for this build, but typically I will spend 2 hours a month building, and then that's what you get for the $10, and then you can cancel at any time. Or you can just let me continue building your city and get it bigger and bigger. And you can customize the name of your city. You can pretty much tell me anything you want me to build in your city. So there's a lot of cool benefits to the Builders Tier Pro. If you are interested in that, check it out on my Patreon. Anyways, we are making some great progress with this building right here. This, block of buildings is what I am building in month 2. And there are some more buildings I am going to add on the side here. So there was that one little building that was like pink, and then there's this other building, it's more of a terracotta color. And they both have like, you know, the apartment kind of thing on the top and then the shop on the bottom level. Seems like a lot of buildings in this town have that feature. I'm gonna build a street light with a little banner flag of the city. And now I have one more building to add on this side over here for the front, before we can kind of connect everything together. So I have to build that building right there, and then the ground was like bricks, which is pretty cool in my opinion, how they changed the texture of the sidewalk. So there's this little thing right there to build, really quick, you know, section where you got to see that little thing in between the buildings there. But I'm gonna just build the roofs now, and at first I thought that the roof area was like a parking lot, but here is the showcase. And we're just gonna fly around the entire city of Crawfordsville. So this took me, you know, about like 5 hours to build over the course of a 2-month time period. So this is what you would get for 2 months worth of my Builder Sphere Pro. Yeah, and if you're interested, you can check it out in the Patreon description. I hope that you enjoyed looking at the city of Crawfordsville. Today we're going to continue building Crawfordsville, Indiana in Minecraft. This is a project for my Builder Sphere Pro requested by Braiden Link, and here's what I built so far. Now, for this episode part 2, we're still going to be working on the downtown area, starting with this part of the street right here. So as you can see, the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is just add in all of the buildings. So I'm going to construct this first building right here, and then I'm going to make one right next to it. It looks almost identical, but there are a few things that I do have to change, and I'm pretty sure that that building is like a movie theater right there. So now that that one is complete, we're going to go ahead and build this next building right here. And this building, I'm pretty sure is like an antique store of some kind. And so the picture that I actually used for like at the beginning that you saw earlier where it said requested by Braiden Link, I'm pretty sure that that is the same part of the street right here that you can see, like those buildings that I'm building right now. So now I'm building this other random brick building. I'm not 100% sure what building that is. And then right next to this one, we are going to go ahead and build the bank. And now I do have to put another intersection here next to the bank. This is a different road. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember what the name of these roads are quite yet. But now we're going to go ahead and build the bank and kind of the backs of these buildings right here. So we are going to put in a street light right there. And then as you can see, there is a lot of work to do as far as building this bank. There are a lot of banks in the downtown area of Crawfordsville. It seems like you'll see me build several banks throughout this video. This is just the first one right here. And it has like one of those little drive-through things where you can like pull in and use the ATM. And that part was very difficult to build. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish doing that. And now I do have another part right here. I have to build the back of this building. And it's like a whole complex of buildings right here, the antique store. So I am using Google Maps to use the best of my abilities. I really haven't had to use Google Earth yet. Google Earth is very useful, but honestly, I like maps better than Earth. I don't know why. But we're going to just continue building the back of this building right here and building the roof lines. Once again, you know, I don't actually live in Crawfordsville. I looked it up. It's actually 12 hours away from where I live. So, you know, just doing the best I can here to recreate the buildings. And here's our next part we're going to build. It's like another bank in another street area. So this is a PNC Bank building that we are building right here. In case you know, PNC Bank was founded in Pittsburgh. And that's actually where I was born. So it's pretty cool to build this building right here. And this seems like a pretty big building for PNC Bank. There are more businesses than just the PNC Bank in this building in Crawfordsville, Indiana, but I'm pretty sure PNC Bank is one of the like main offices that use this building in particular right here. And you know, this is like the focal point of the downtown. You can't see it, but just across the street is like the Courthouse, which we built in part 1. So you know, this is like the center area of the downtown district. And this road right here next to it, this little smaller road, is actually a one-way street, which I think is pretty cool. That's why the cars, you see them parallel parked on the side there. And now I have to build the back of this PNC Bank and the back of this parking lot area. And this parking lot is very difficult to build. I've found out as I'm building Crawfordsville, Indiana, that parking lots are one of the hardest things to build when you're recreating a building in real life. A lot of these buildings are actually, not that hard for me because they're just like square buildings. Thank God they're not like on a diagonal or curved. But the parking lots are much more difficult for me to build for some reason. I have no idea why. But next to the bank, we have these other buildings right here that we are going to build. And these are just smaller buildings. I'm not 100% sure what each of the shops are. If you go on Google Maps Street View and you type in Crawfordsville, Indiana, you can literally like use the street view and go down this street and actually look at the stores. I'm sure that Braiden Link, the patron who commissioned me to build this town, knows what all these buildings are, but I haven't studied them a whole lot to actually know what they are, as far as like what businesses are there. So as you can see, I am still working on the parking lot. I'm trying to get it just right, and it is very difficult, especially when you're using Google Maps, Google Earth to try and rebuild everything on a one-to-one scale in Minecraft. So we are going to go ahead and continue building the roof for this part right here. And if you want your own town built in Minecraft by me, you can sign up for my Builders Tier Pro on my Patreon, and I'll build like literally any type of city for you. So right now I have, Crawfordsville, I have Home Alone, and here's the next part of the town we're building. Right across the street from the bank and the courthouse. So we're just gonna go ahead and start building it right here. And this building's kind of cool because it has like two different, it's like two buildings combined into one if you look at the roof line. But here we're gonna go ahead and build the side of this building right here. And this is just the side that goes off onto the other street. We're gonna put in a little street light right there, and then like a handicap sign even. So a lot of different little details that I try to add in Crawfordsville just to make it more unique and add some more life to it. So here we go. We're gonna continue building the side of this building right here, and this one was a little tricky to build, but we are gonna go ahead and finish building the front of it. But it's really like the side. And then there's just another little brick building right there, and put in the roof line. And now this building right here is pretty cool because it was actually under renovation when I was looking at it in the Google Maps Street View. And so that is really going to add some life to it. I love building buildings in Minecraft that are under construction. So I'm going to put the traffic cones around it, and then some TNT with some people there. And then there's a bunch of other little town block buildings along this street right here that I am just going to go ahead and fill in. So there's like this building with the brick, and then just the other areas. Now when you're building these types of buildings, one thing that's funny is like the second story and above are usually pretty easy to build, but it's that bottom story that's difficult. Now this building right here, the pink one, this one was hard to build. And that material on the bottom there, I don't even know what block that is. It's like a new one from 1.21. But we are going to build that building right next to it. That one was a pretty easy one to build. There's this one here. I'm not really sure what these buildings are either. We are going to put another street light and a crosswalk in right there with some cars. And now here we go. We are going to go ahead and jump back to the main street right here. So this is right across the street from the courthouse. Like I mentioned earlier, we have this building. And then just a bunch of more buildings that I am going to go ahead and add to the city. And then this is a kind of a taller building back here made out of the brick. So just going to go ahead and put in the targets as like the banner over the windows. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the roof now. So we have a bunch of different roof designs. At this point, we are 6 months in, so when the time lapse is over, you're gonna see that I've spent 6 months building this city. And at this point, I'm building a lot of the back alleyways and just finishing the buildings. Because in month 5, I built a lot of the fronts of the buildings, but I ran out of time to finish them. So here in month 6, I'm really just cleaning everything up and getting Crawfordsville ready for the part 2 map download. So you guys can actually all download Crawfordsville on my Patreon. And you don't need the pro tier for that. You just need the regular tier to just download it. The pro tier is for those of you who want to actually have your own cities commissioned by me, or built by me. You commission them. But yeah, here's the back alleyway here. We have the cars. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate to real life because it is hard to see the back alleyways from Google Maps, but I'm just doing the best I can here. We have a crosswalk, and then this building inside of it's really unique and cool. I really like it. You've got a lot of things going on back there with like the parking lot, and then there's some stuff going on back there with like a little garage, and then there's like a wooden street light and that little thing up there. Alright everybody, and then here we are on to the showcase, and this is what 6 months of progress gets you for building Crawfordsville, Indiana. So all the new buildings that we have right here. Very excited to release part 2 for this video, for this map rather. You can download part 2 on my Patreon, and then if you want to watch part 1, the part 1 video, you can do that. The link for that's also in the video description. But yeah, we're just gonna fly around the whole city right here, and this is what it's like to live in downtown Crawfordsville. And then you know, you can actually experience this in Minecraft. This is a real life town, and it's just a super cool experience to build this in Minecraft. Alright, ready, so here we are, and this is going to be part 3 of the video. So what we're going to be doing here is just building this main section of the city, which is just a bunch of random buildings. We're going to start off with these 2 buildings here. It looks like an insurance building, so I'm just going to go ahead and build the front of these buildings first. And at this point, we are on to month number 7 of the Crawfordsville building progress. So I'm pretty sure I go through like 9 or 10 months. I think it's 10 months worth of building up to this point right here. So as you can see, I had the front of these buildings done. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and build the sides and then the roof for them. And you do have to make the building on the right a little bit wider at the end. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some details to the back. And the next thing I'm gonna do is try to lay out the blueprint for where the bank parking lot is gonna go. Now we're gonna build this church right here. So as you can see, these are just some different pictures of the church from the Google Maps Street View. So the first thing we're going to do is lay out the sidewalks and the foundation for the church. Yeah, and this is the second biggest building that I've built so far in Crawfordsville. I would say that, you know, the main courthouse I built in the very beginning is still the most difficult building I've built in the city, but I would have to say this is probably the second most difficult building that I've built in Crawfordsville so far. But I am going to go ahead and build the whole baseline for the front and the side facing the road. Of course, there are several sides to this, but like this side here is a little bit harder to see than the sides that you can see from the street view accurately. You kind of have to look down the street at the windows. So just trying to make everything as accurate as I can right here. But as I'm building this church, I'm really satisfied with the progress because I feel like this is actually an easier building than I thought to build in the street view, but it is still taking a pretty long time. And this side area here is very hard to see from Google Maps as far as what it looks like right here. So there we go. The church is just about done. The only thing I have left to do is fill in the parking lot right here. And add some trees and landscaping. Next, we're going to build a Pikes Park. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called right here. And I've been waiting to do this for a while now, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet because it's kind of like the bank parking lot where you have to make sure the other buildings are in the right place before you worry about things like this. But this park is really fun to build, and Crawfordsville was in desperate need of the park at this point because we're getting to the point where there's so many like shops and buildings, but really nothing else. So building things like the church and the park are really, you know, adding a lot of liveliness to the city. So here we go. We're going to build those trees right there and just the main circle area. And now it's time to finally build the dreaded bank parking lot. This is the bank parking lot right here, right in the middle of your screen. Parking lot for the PNC Bank. I have been putting off this parking lot for months. I've been dreading building it because it is just, there's so many weird shapes to this. And the way the layout is, I just know that it's going to be so difficult to build. But I am finally to the point now where I cannot put it off any longer. I have to build it here. So yeah. And even in this creation, it's not going to be entirely 100% accurate. I'm just doing the best I can here with this parking lot. I have to build like the little ATM machine right there, and then the sign, put some trees out there. And now I have to build a memorial near the church. There was like a little memorial. So at this point, we are done building all of the commercial buildings. We're going to start building the houses. And this big house is the first house that we're going to build. And I was pretty excited to build the houses until I saw this very first house that I'm going to build, because it has a lot of different shapes and it is very complicated to build here. So yeah, it took me a while to think, like, okay, how am I even gonna build this? But eventually I do kind of get an idea put together, and I'm able to build this house right here. And I'm using light gray wool for this house. And at this point, we are on like month number, I'm pretty sure it's 10 months. So I think this is month 10 right here. It might be 9 months, but I'll have to double check. It's either 9 or 10 months worth of building progress in Crawfordsville. And this is the final month. Like, this is the most recent month. Like, I just built these houses a few days ago. But anyways, here we have the house. The first house is pretty much complete. There is a weird driveway though. We're gonna put a car. There's also some huge bushes, and I noticed that there are these power lines that I never really added before. And so I'm gonna add those in. Here is the next house. It is a lot more basic than the first house. Thank goodness. This house is gonna be so much easier to build, at least the house part. The garage part is gonna be very difficult, and I'll have to get to that in a minute here. But right now I'm building the main area of the house, and it's very easy. But now I have to build the garage and the whole backyard of this house. And it's very complicated to figure out the proportions. You know, and you look at these buildings and you may think, okay, it's pretty easy to do this. But I would say probably the hardest part about building real life buildings in a town like this is figuring out the proportions. Anyway, here's the third house. I want to highlight that. This is the one in the middle that we're going to be building here. So I have to build this third house before I can even finish the second house, because I have to make sure that the proportions are lined up. And at this point, you know, like, I had to basically build the whole third house before I could finish the second house. So there we go. But now here is the showcase of Crawfordsville. This is the most updated version. So you download the map today, and this is what it looks like. And this is what, you know, 9-10 months worth of building gets you in my Builders Here Pro program. So I can build your hometown in Minecraft too. All you have to do is sign up for my Builders Here Pro. I can build anything for you guys, and we have more and more people joining. We have more and more people joining the pro program. So sign up now if you want to before all the spots fill up. So here we go. This is the main city. We have some houses right here that I have just completed, and I'm just so excited. I'm loving Crawfordsville more and more as I'm getting the city put together. And here are the rest of the buildings right here. That bank parking lot is finally finished. I'm so excited for that. And at this point, the next chapter for Crawfordsville is to just build more houses. Like, we have so many shops, but still only 3 houses. So for the next several months, that's what I'm going to be doing. It's building more and more houses to the city. But yeah, I kind of already went off on my rant about joining my Builder Here Pro on my Patreon. But here is the description right here. Link is in the description.